If I were to ask you what the first video game ever out there was, I would assume you might need a moment to think about it, but then I would hope you would answer Pong. Some of you, like a lot of people out there on this blue ball of dirt we call Earth, would actually say Super Mario Bros. Or well, they would just say Mario, which is of course a little stupid, but I can see why people would think that. Mario more or less saved the gaming industry as a whole and got it a place in the world, one it still holds to this day. But it did more. It more or less also invented the oldest genre known to man, the platforming game. Running and jumping has always been the plumber's best skill. Anyway, where one man leads, many follow. So today we're taking a look at my top 5 2D platforming games. Just to be sure, for something to be a platforming game, I will only count games where the main obstacle is jumping-based puzzles or skill tests. Not any game you can jump in. So Cuphead, for instance, is a game where the game really tests your combat skills, not your platforming skills. Thomas Was Alone. By any technical definition, this is a platformer, and I do like it, but when you look at the game for more than 2 seconds, you'll see it's actually hardly a platforming game and it's more of a puzzle game, but even that is stretching it a little bit. Thomas Was Alone is a game about a bunch of sentient blocks. Some are tall, some are wide, some can jump high, some can squeeze through small spaces. One by one you'll get to know them and their abilities, combining them to solve puzzles and progress with the game. The thing is, neither the platforming or the puzzle part of the game has any challenge to offer. The main draw to the game is the writing. All these blocks have personalities which are told to you through the narration.
It was at that moment that Claire realised she had superpowers.
The blocks don't act in a certain way, they don't do anything if you don't control them, but still, their gameplay elements combined with the narrations make these simple shapes into actual characters. I love this game, I really do, but to call it a platformer would hardly be true, which is why it's in the bottom of this list. In recent years, the genre walking simulator has gotten a name. Games like Dear Esther or The Stanley Parable. I think Thomas Was Alone is a 2D walking simulator more so than anything. Super Mario World. The game that brought Mario into a new era. After the trilogy of platforming games on the NES, the hopes of the world were high with the release of the first SNES Mario game, and boy did it deliver. This game takes Mario Bros. 3, gives it steroids and then shows it it's still not worth shit. The overworld map is nice and colourful, giving the world character, and even to this day, the sprite work of everything in the whole game is so damn amazing. And that's just the looks. Of course the game plays great too. The basics shouldn't be too difficult for you if you have played Super Mario Bros. 3 before. The running system has been ported over without a huge heads-up display at the bottom of the screen. Sadly the Tanuki leaf has been removed, but now we've got something better, the Cape Feather. This is pretty much the same as the Tanuki leaf, or rather the Tanuki suit, but it's more difficult to master its controls. That being said, when you do master it, the game becomes little more than your slave. Okay, maybe that's a little bit dramatic, but really, if you master the controls of this Cape Feather, you can pretty much just pull a Kirby on most levels and fly over it. Or at least make your life a lot easier, since it also comes with a useful spin attack. This game lays the groundwork for what would later become New Super Mario Bros. The movement is more fluid than before, the castle designs and haunted boom mansions which are like puzzles, everything is like an early version of New Super Mario Bros. So you might wonder why I didn't pick New Super Mario Bros. For this list, and the answer is simply world design. This world feels alive. It has character and everything feels just right. New Super Mario Bros. Feels like a selection of levels put together in a row, which honestly, it is. Super Mario World on the other hand makes it one great adventure. All the levels in the overworld are connected, even if they have separate screens, and the level designs change gradually rather than being the same for a whole world and then suddenly being different for the next world. Anyway, this game is a true classic and anyone who hasn't played it yet should pick it up right now. Super Meat Boy. People these days tend to call everything the Dark Souls of insert genre. Well, if anything is the Dark Souls of 2D platforming, it would be Super Meat Boy. The game is brutal in its difficulty, and while that may sound off-putting to a lot of people, and with good reason, This game actually balances the difficulty out fairly well. For starters, there's no life system. When you die, you just respawn at the start of the level, and with a few exceptions near the end of the game, most levels don't reach a half a minute of game time, so a death never really costs you too much. There's no loading screens either, so the moment you touch a saw blade or a pool of lava, you instantly respawn, making the punishment for death rather close to nothing at all. That's not to say the game can't be frustrating. When you spend a lot of time on a level, almost reaching the end before running into something that kills you, it might have only set you back about 10 or so seconds. But if you start playing this game, you may want an extra controller or two. Even so, it never really feels like the game cheesed you out of a victory. It always feels like a lack of your own skill when you die. And to complete the game, there is a decent amount of skill needed. So why would anybody even play this game other than to torture themselves? Well, the world and level designs are very well done. Every world has a distinct feeling and color palette to it, but not only that, they also keep throwing new game mechanics at you. Things like conveyor belts which make you go faster or slower depending on which way you're going, portals that teleport you to different places in the level, new enemy types which actually have different behavior, and so on. All of these new mechanics are simple and you'll understand them the moment you first see them. And if not, a single death will help you realize what they do. And as I said before, a single death doesn't take much time away from you at all. Sonic Generations. I know this is also a 3D platformer, but for this list I'll only be taking a look at the classic Sonic levels, of course. It's funny because usually I'm not hugely into 2D Sonic games. I'm one of those people who's more into the 3D platformers, especially with Sonic. Which is a shame because Sonic Team doesn't seem to be very... what's the word here? Good at making those. Anyway, in Sonic Generations you play a version of every stage as the modern 3D Sonic style, but more importantly for this list, also as the classic Sonic style. And that's not just a camera perspective either. Classic Sonic of course has a different character model, not as tall and slim as the modern Sonic, but he also doesn't have things like the homing attack or boosting. Instead we go back to the good old days of spin dashing. The reason I like this 2D version over the original games, or even Sonic Mania to some extent, is because frankly speaking, it's just easier. Levels are largely just one path you go through as fast as you can, jumping every now and then while destroying anything that stands in your way. In level and game design, it's more like modern Sonic games, just executed in a 2D classic coat of paint. Rayman Legends. No Rayman game will ever be as good as Rayman 2 or 3. Even though Legends is a great game, it's not quite on that level. Luckily for Rayman Legends, this is a 2D platformer list, so Rayman 2 and 3 are not an option, and Rayman 1... oh god no, that game is hell! Rayman Legends is by all means an easy game. There's no life system and the levels give you invisible checkpoints all the time for when you die, which, if you're not careful, could happen a lot. Because you don't exactly have any HP in this game. You can get a floating heart either by collecting them from floating vials or by saving certain TNCs. But that heart only protects you against one hit, which isn't a lot. What's more, you don't want to lose that heart either, because if you already have a heart when gaining a new one, it'll be converted into lumps, which are the main collectible for this game. The gameplay is fluid and fast, the level design is interesting and feels alive. When you see an enemy, it doesn't feel like the developers put the enemy there for you to face, it feels like the enemy just was there for you when you arrived. Wrong time, wrong place. It's hard to explain really. But the main reason for this game being on the top of the list is at the end of every world you fight a boss. No, just kidding, it's not the boss fights, though they are really well made also. No, after you finish the boss fights, another level opens up to you. These levels are music-based platforming sections where you continuously run and jump, attack, slide and generally do platforming to the beat of the music playing, which is a Raymanized version of popular songs like Eye of the Tiger, or even one classical song which might be based on Vivaldi's Four Seasons, then again, it might not be, it's hard to tell really. And if those are too easy for you, if you played them all to death, there's also an 8-bit version of every single one, where the game messes with your screen, adding noise, distorting it, and you name it. Thanks for watching this video, let's jump right to the end here. If you enjoyed, let me know by leaving a like down below this video, and while you're down there, let me know what your favourite 2D platforming game is by posting a comment. And hey, if you enjoyed this video, you might as well subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified every single time I upload. Until the next time, bye.